Welcome to Dharma Bumps, everyone. We'll meditate for a few minutes while everyone's arriving. Welcome everyone. Anyone new to Dharma Bums? First time? 1%. Anyone new to meditation? Good, we'll just meditate. Anyone need questions? Curiosities? Anything?
Did I start snoring?
You want to do snoring meditation?
Did I snore?
You could snore? I'm sure you can snore. But can you snore in meditation? It might be difficult. Yeah. Meditation, eyes open, everyone? Eyes closed, everyone.
A little open because you told us a few weeks ago.
One eye open, one eye closed.
You said that one was a little open a couple weeks ago.
If your eyes are open, you're not going to snore. I don't think. An experiment. Eyes open, a little bit open. Otherwise we get like sleepy or fantasizing, thinking. So just a little bit open, like gazing toward the floor. And really wide gaze, like if you held your fingers out, you'd be able to see them moving. So it's not a focused, pretty habituated during the day for our eyes to automatically focus on objects in a very isolated sort of way. Because we're constantly conditioned to want to name and categorize and decide whether we like something or not. So in meditation, this is erased. Just being present, completely present. Sound comes, sight comes, smell, memory, past, future, everything happens. And if we don't mess with it, guess what happens? It all goes away. Unless we jump in and want to make a big mess or party out of it, or make a list for. We should have gotten your list making done in the first 15-minute meditation. So, anyone planning tomorrow? Fixing what happened yesterday? Nobody does that. It's a waste of time. Why would we do that? Oh, people do that.
I just did it.
Yeah, so yesterday is not fixable. Tomorrow, it's good to plan, of course, a little bit, but can't make things happen the way we want them to happen. Always be different. So we're surfing this present moment, constantly. All these thoughts, feelings, sensations arise, come together in this present moment. We're completely present with that. We're not trying to push anything away, playing. It's not like a game of, pushing everything away to make everything open like that. It's allowing everything to come and go without getting caught by it. So that method is to be centered in our breathing body and awareness become closer, one thing. Breathing from our deep belly breathing. Everyone remember how to breathe? Breathing? I mean breathing like when you're age 2. This is the kind of breathing. Usually we've got very layers of conditioning out of that very natural, deep, slow belly breathing. So we're cultivating that kind of centered breathing awareness. Sound good? Easy? Yeah. Simple. Simple, not easy. Oh, yeah, we get make it complicated. Any question or comment? Anything? Yeah.
How did you find your way into meditation?
I'm just learning. I don't know anything. I haven't gotten to meditation. How did I find my way into meditation? It's a memory place. I don't exactly remember, quite honestly. I do remember the first formal Zen group I went to, but I was meditating before that on my own. Meditating. We sit quietly, it's something we call it meditation. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, the first Zen group was, just happened to show up in San Diego at one point. Teacher from Los Angeles would drive down every week. So a little while ago, I was 20. How old are you? How old are you? Young.
We're all young.
I'm 21, right? No.
We're all young.
Yes, we're all young. Yes. Yeah, so that was the beginning of some more deeper understanding of group practice. I think group practice is really helpful. Sitting in a group adds something. It's good to do that. And then, when I entered into some more formal Zen practice, then also engaging in longer practice is really helpful. Formal sitting, whatever school of practice you choose to do. So first day long, and then weekend, and then week long or 10-day retreats are very beneficial. In San Diego, we're fortunate. Southern California, or California in general, there's many options for longer practice. Anyone here done week-long or 10-day practice? How was that?
Intense. I did the Vipassana.
Vipassana, which center? Yeah.
One I did in Georgia, Jessup, Georgia.
Oh, in Georgia, yeah.
And then outside Medellin, Colombia, South America.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite intense, but definitely nice. I mean, I can do extreme things like that. The middle path is my problem.
How to integrate?
The consistency on a day-to-day basis.
How to integrate? Yeah. But you do it again.
I've started coming to the Dharma Bum Temple.
Yeah, you would go do a 10-day retreat again?
Oh, I probably will.
Probably will sometime.
I want to do a dark retreat too.
Darkness retreat? Oh, where?
There's a few. There's one in Oaxaca, Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And Guatemala.
Have you done that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's the next.
There's one in southern Oregon that looks very good because they have
Sky Cave.
Yeah, they have experience in Buddhist tradition, Dzogchen.
I had a question. So I don't know too much. I never delved really into the Zen practice. I want to know, kind of how does it distinguish? What's different about it than maybe the Vipassana practice or forest tradition or Tibetan? What sets it apart?
Well, there's the easy answer is they're all completely different and they're all completely identical. Because the human being is the person doing them all. So they're all the same. And they do have different methods, So like in Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism, which, my own personal background is quite a lot in Zen practice and also in Tibetan Vajrayana and Dzogchen. So in Tibetan practice, you're visualizing things like the medicine Buddha. So you're visualizing that as an object and you're reciting the mantra as you practice. And you're visualizing yourself as the medicine Buddha. If that kind of practice appeals to one, it's great practice. Highly qualified teachers in America and globally. I'm a little familiar with Vipassana and Theravada, but a little bit less than Zen or Tibetan practices. But Vipassana and Theravada lays out a very careful sequencing of things. It's not that any of these practices are better or worse, they appeal to different kinds of people, I think. So, and especially the main thing is also to find affinity perhaps for a specific teacher and have some affinity there that one trusts and that can give one good feedback. That's the most important thing. And then a method that one's comfortable with and to do consistently. And a lot of times, the different systems of these different Buddhist schools are looking at the same thing through slightly different, then they've developed slightly different methods, but for the same results more or less. So at Zen, again, similar to some of the introductory parts of Vipassana as well, we're focusing on breathing. But in Zen, it's not broken down the way it is in Vipassana so much. So in Zen, it's more direct. And the arising of external sensations and thoughts and feelings and memories and projections and all those things in Zen Buddhism is dealt with a little differently. There's nothing good or bad arising. There's no need to deal with it on that level at all. It's more cutting through more directly. There's great similarity in the view between Tibetan Dzogchen and Zen Buddhism. So in that view, comes from the Mahayana philosophy of Nagarjuna, where the conditions of samsara, or relative existence, which in some Buddhism is looked at as this is the cause of suffering, right? These are misperceptions. Samsara and nirvana, or the state of liberation, are the same thing. Our misperception is causing the trouble. Our misperception basically being is that we're looking at things as separate, objectified, isolated realities that we then add a lot of things to. Whereas in fact, there's no separation at all between awareness and the object. That's a little abstract, but I'm trying to answer your question. Like, so more practically, like, this is a good question. So, sound of bell, right? But the sound comes first. The naming is afterward. Right? It's important. Naming comes after experience. hence and separation, categorizing, craving and aversion, etc. It's good to have some. Has anyone else here heard of darkness retreat? But a comment that doesn't usually come up. It's also in Mesoamerican traditions or Native American traditions too. I'll tell a very humorous, someone told me very, very funny. Tibetan Buddhism also does darkness retreat. Zen doesn't particularly have a darkness retreat, but I think early Zen Buddhism, Chan Buddhism in China certainly did. The founder of Bodhidharma, is meditating in a cave for 9 years. It's a darkness retreat, I'm sure. Dzogchen darkness retreat is very important practice. But this is not something you jump into without a little bit of, more than a little bit of preparation. So darkness retreat, you're entering into there are quite a few around right now which are accessible. Traditionally, it'd be a cave or it could be a structure built, so there's no light enters. You enter into there and you have your food brought to you. You're not, it's a small space, so one can learn to navigate pretty easily. In Native American tradition, like in the Lakota tradition, this is done in this very tiny space. In that tradition, also usually one is also fasting. It's very intense. Again, one's prepared for this through preliminary practices in all cases. This isn't something you just jump in and do. That would be a little problematic reactions if possible. So, I think there's 2 funny stories. Odd things can happen in darkness retreat because your dream state and your waking state can merge. This is why you have to be very careful, because then you can easily become unstable, psychologically. So one short story is there's a guy doing Lakota sun dance and darkness retreat, vision quest, and he was praying, and then it was like the 3rd day, and he was a little tired. He was sitting up, and he would, unselfconsciously, he just stretched, right? He stretched again, right? So then it's like all of a sudden, then he realized that he stretched through where there, at least the day before, there was the wall of the little space he was in was there. He couldn't, he was like, and then he was up against the back, the back of him was the back of this little space, it was underground, in this case with a sealed top. And he started to reach back and there was nothing there. And then he thought, I should reach down and see if there's anything underneath me. And then he thought, no, I'm not going to do that. He went back to his praying, his practice. Let it go. So what happened? The more humorous one was a Tibetan darkness retreat. In that case, it was a structure of some kind of house, and they had a long tube, hollow tube, where the Lama that was guiding the person on retreat could talk to him every day to give instruction on his meditation practice and any obstacles that come up, because strange things can come up. So Lama would come over to talk to the retreat inside Tibetan and ask what was going on. And the Tibetan guy inside was in a total panic. it's the middle of this week or 10 days, and something may happen. What happens? He said, Lama, there's a wild yak in here. And it's right in front of me, and it's gonna hit me and knock me over at any moment. I have to get out of here. And the Lama says, oh, describe it to me. Hey, he's got horns and it's big, his breath is, and he's, of course, it's totally dark, you can't see anything, but he's seeing this wild yak. Totally certain, he's completely freaked out. So the old Lama goes, oh, I see, okay. He says, I'm gonna, before we do anything, first I'm gonna run a little cord down the tube, you pull it through, and when you have it all, then the other end of it, I want you to reach around and tie it around the neck of the wild yak. And then tie the other end, and I'll hold on to the other end here, on the outside. So he runs the cord down, the guy in retreat reaches around and ties it around the neck of the yak, ties it. Lama says, okay, you got it? You got to tie it around the neck of the wild yak. But yeah, it's there, it's tied, it's all ready to go. So I'm gonna pull now, okay? So then the Lama outside starts pulling it up, and it starts to get tight. And then the guy on retreat inside says, wait, stop, it's around my neck. That really happened. Storytellers, this was recent. This wasn't like 300 years ago. This was 1980s sometime. So our mind delusions and our self are the same thing. Very literally in that case. So back to our meditation. Comments, questions, posture, breathing, awareness, memories, feelings. Posture, tension arising in the body, emotions. What do we do with them? Feel them in your body, right? And you breathe into them. And then exhale, release. That process gets more and more fluid. Stop feeling emotion, it starts repeating itself. Again, you can just pause, exhale a little bit. Come back to our breathing, start again. So we'll meditate for a few minutes. Any more questions, any comments? Yeah,
Um, in Zen and I guess other meditative styles, I guess particularly Zen, is there a point where let go of following the breath, or is it continuing to follow like a point of focus?
Who is breathing? So sometimes in some like Gauss and Vipassana, they'll say they follow a practice of counting the breath. It's like inhale, exhale, 1, inhale, exhale, 2, like that, to 10, right? Anyone do this practice? So in Zen, we'd say breathing the count, not counting the breath. Difference, make sense? Yeah. Counting the breath, that's just an extra distraction in my view, or Zen point of view. Kind of a distortion, even in Vipassana, it's really not quite right. So again, breathing and body are like even the idea of following the breath. Like, huh? Breathing and body? What, two things or one thing? It's a trick question. I've done this before. So.
Both.
Both, but what happens if there's breath separate from body? It's over. Breath has no location in the body. It's continuously moving. This is why it's useful as a focus for meditation, because our meditation is surfing the present moment. Breath is the continuous, is a good anchor that is reflective of flowing and continuously in the present moment. Because breath never stops. It has a cycle of complete inhale, and then there is, especially on the complete exhale, a natural pause. So in Zen, you could say self arises on the complete inhale, self disappears completely exhale, and then arises again. So again, in the Zen view, it's not trying to create some kind of separate observer that's watching the breathing or watching our thoughts or watching everything. The art Zen meditation is everything that arises, awareness, thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything is unified. And then when it unifies, then it also separates. So there's both this experience of absolute awareness and then integration with relative reality. I always joke, say like, okay, meditate with your eyes open, it's always easier when crossing the street. Because, it's like that's the integration part of meditation. We're not sitting to get somewhere in some altered state. We have to carry this into our daily activity. When someone cuts in front of us on the freeway and we get angry, that's where our meditation practice applies. We don't hit the car mindfully. No, we want to just go with fluidity and respond appropriately. So yeah, in that sense, like even in our regular, busy life, you don't have to sit for a long period of time to try and get somewhere. Just even short periods of meditation, 2-3 minutes, repeated throughout the day, are very useful. just stop short of 2 minutes, 2 minutes before breakfast, 2 minutes mid-morning, 2 minutes before lunch, 2 minutes mid-afternoon. But formally sit down, or once off to work somewhere, whatever, just take a pause and break. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. This then makes it more easier to integrate into our regular activity. Anything else? Yeah.
Yeah, I've recently stopped counting breaths.
Stop counting. Yeah.
Those breaths are in the past. So I just count to one, then as I exhale, one, inhale, one.
Yeah. I see.
Exhale,
That's
one.
before. We're on the same track. Yeah. You don't have to. Why add numbers? It's just one breath. I mean, you could get up to like 5,328,000. No. Like, like, what do we do? No, so it's like fully being present, one, breathing, one, yeah. And then eventually, it all merges together. Yeah, it's useful to do it. I think it's useful to do it like that. I found it so. Yeah.
Can you leave us with the koan?
Koan? The koan, I mean, just in a theoretical sense, it's very simple. It's who am I? This is not only in Zen, but also in Vedanta, non-dual Advaita Vedanta. Who am I? Ramana Maharshi, also in Zen. Zen looks at the unborn mind, that which was never born, never dies. So in relationship to the unborn, who am I? It's not like, who am I? Oh, I'm so-and-so years old. And who am I in this sense? Never born, never died. Great, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.